sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And for the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. And that's just a sampling. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. For laptops, mobile phones, and tablets, download the Roku app. National Streaming Sports, live and on demand sports talk for America.
Yes, folks, back in my clubbing days. I was out there on the dance floor doing my thing. Yes, sir. I don't want to brag, but, I had a lot of fun on the dance floor, Sonia. I'm not going to say I was the best dancer out there, but, boy, I could get down. I had a blast back in the 90s clubbing around. Yes, I did.
I don't want to say I had any moves, lest some of my friends I grew up with be on here and negate all of my hopeful moves. My moves came later in life. I had no rhythm or nothing. In fact, everybody was like, girl, you're trapped in the wrong body. You're not. You have no rhythm.
Hey, listen. I always had rhythm. My parents, and this is off the subject for a minute. We'll get to football, folks, don't worry. But my parents were dancers, right? They're from the 50s. Oh, my mom could do the twist, the mashed potatoes, all that stuff. She taught me all that. My dad was a dancing fool. I mean, he had the leather jacket. I mean, he was like one of those rebels that dance, right? So I don't know. But anyway, so when the disco age came about, my dad gets the leisure suits out. John Travolta, that white leisure suit. He had like a brown and a tan one. And he would go out with mom and they would be discoing it up. So anyway, it was fun.
Fun memory.
One thing I want to talk to you about again, nothing to do with sports right now, but I think people have seen this commercial. It's been on during the game. It's called Extract. And what it's about is that they send these people out into the woods, right? And, you see film clips. It looks like there's wild dogs and I don't know, something else out there. And the family members, it's for $250,000. They vote whether to extract them from there or not. So, excuse me, it's up to the family members. So if your significant other is not happy with you, and you got a pack of wild dogs next to you, I don't think she's going to extract you, or he's going to.
Oh man, this sounds like something on NBC, Mac.
Yeah, it does.
They have these extreme shows. I always say I could never go on those shows because I have an extreme phobia of snakes, even pictures of them. Right. And they always have that as part of the commercial, like somebody's around a pit of snakes. And I'm like, you know what? That right there would take me out. Right. So, it's amusing to me that your life is in your family's hands. So Uncle Johnny doesn't like you. Yeah, or he's been drinking that day. I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, you're not ever go on that show if you know your family doesn't like you. Yeah, no, that's not a good idea. So let's get to some of the games. New Orleans looked like New Orleans might beat Tampa in the beginning. I mean, they were giving Tampa Bay all they could handle. But Baker Mayfield throws for a couple touchdowns. Bucky Irvin, which he's a very good running back for Tampa Bay. People don't talk about him enough. He scored a touchdown. And they end up winning 27-19. So Tampa Bay is in the playoffs now. They have won the division. Spencer Rattler threw for 240 yards, a touchdown. I don't know what James thinks. I know James is not
Not he's probably not even watching. I don't know if he is or not. Probably can't. But Spencer Rattler's a young quarterback they picked up in the draft this year, like in the 6th round or so. And of course, they still got Carr there. What do you think? Do you think there's any kind of controversy, quarterback competition, or is it going to be Carr and Rattler's going to have to wait another year? What do you think?
I think Rattler probably has to wait another year. They've already made their compact, I guess I should say, their pact with Derek Carr. Had a little brain freeze there. And that's who they decided to go with. And I mean, this game, I just kept thinking, like, wait a minute, is Baker playing? Because that game was on the same time my game was on. And all eyes were on both of those games, literally, because the division was up for grabs. And Atlanta was banking on Tampa losing, and they were actually rooting for New Orleans for the first time. And New Orleans was basically rooting for the Panthers to beat the Falcons because they didn't want them to claim the division. But Mike Evans got $3 million after this contract, after this game was over with. And he's had 11 years of, I think it's 11,000 yards. And so
11 years. Right.
Yeah, he's gotten like really, really big and well-deserved. So it's a double win for him, and they clinched the number 4 position. The thing that got me, though, Mac, was the Atlanta game and Carolina game was still going on, and all of a sudden NFL puts up the final numbers like, okay, and Tampa's claimed. So I guess as long as Tampa won, it didn't even matter if Atlanta won or not.
Yeah, because Tampa had the better record. Right? Tampa had a better record. Now, if Tampa lost and Atlanta won, even though they had the same record, Atlanta had the tiebreaker. So Atlanta would have ended up winning the division, which they didn't. But I'm going to tell you, Jack talked, I said it was stupid to put Penix Jr. in there. Why don't they have, Kirk Cousins there? Listen, Penix Jr. played unbelievable against Carolina. It was an overtime game. Bryce Young had his best game of his career so far. Miles Sanders played pretty well. Penix threw for 312 yards. I mean, it was a real good game, Sonia. I hope you got to watch the whole game.
Oh, I did. That's my team. Thus, I'm donning the toboggan tonight and the Bryce jersey. This is the Bryce Young jersey.
I see.
Definitely excited. David Tepper just came out within the last half an hour and spoke to the press and said, I think we've got our quarterback, so he's selling it. Bryce has played a lot better progressively through this season. One thing going into this game, Vegas had us as 9 points losing. Vegas, again, I knew the 9 points at a minimum was not going to be the issue. But not only that, the last 5 years, sometimes history just repeats itself. We've always split with the Falcons, and this is the time that we've definitely split with them again. What's up, Dennis? Congratulations. Thank you so much. And congrats to you. 44-38 overtime. But I will say this, the Panthers defense is not looking like it should look. Frank Wright's people, the old administration, the old coach that they have in place there, Dan Canales just took over that. Everos, however you pronounce his name, is the DC. But the rumor is according to Charlotte writer, Mr. Person there, that they will be obliterating that entire defensive management because Dan Canales needs his own people. And 21 seasons of coaching Everos has as a defensive coordinator, not specifically for our team, but definitely overall. And so to see that win, to see us literally play every single quarter, Mac, 3-3 the first quarter, 14-21 the second quarter, 14 again. Yeah. Falcons are scoreless in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, another touchdown. Falcons get 14 and then to go overtime. And for Bryce to call heads, us to get heads. And that's always an advantage when you're the one receiving off the rip because of the overtime rules. And they just really played really good ball. I just hope in the offseason that they can, focus on getting the defense built up. 72 different starts, NFL record for most injured players on a team. 72 different Panthers have taken the field this season. So it was already a disadvantage for us going in because we had so many injuries. And the key point, Shaq Thompson on the defense, J.C. Horn now injured for the defense. those were key pivotal players that definitely made the defense look a little bit fragmented, but they were able to hold on 44-38. Panthers season finale, we're 1-0 for the 25 year at least, 5-12, and Falcons, even though they're 8-9, below 500, not enough to go forth. So, with me living here in Atlanta, I feel like it's a win regardless. And just seeing how Bryce played, 6 touchdowns, 2 of his own, absolutely perfect.
Listen, you should be proud of your team. I would be proud of my team if they came back and they won that last game like that. They never quit. I mean, they were down as much as 14 points and still came back. You got to like that, Sonia. Yeah, your defense needs work. But, listen, so do Cincinnati's, right? So, I mean, listen.
And they in the
playoffs. Right. And they almost made the playoffs, right? So listen, you should be happy with what your team is doing. Maybe you start turning the corner a little bit next year, right? Maybe you play 500.
Lucky 7. They say 7 is the lucky year. We've lost for 7 seasons this year. So hopefully, and you're a Giants too, Mac. I know we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we will. Not that I want to. Let's get to Houston first. The Texans, C.J. Stroud played for a minute. He threw for a touchdown. But it was really all about Dameon Pierce, the running back. For some reason, Tennessee forgot how to stop the run. He ran for 176 yards. I mean, he was running up the gut. I mean, nobody was stopping this guy. Houston wins 23-14. I still, they're the South Division winner. I still have questions about Houston when it comes to playing quality teams when it comes to the playoffs. We'll see what happens. A lot of people thought they would be a championship team this year, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know what happened over there in Houston, Sonia.
Sophomore slump across the whole thing, from the coaching all the way down. And like we talked this morning on the Big Football Show, every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, folks, join us there on Northeast Professional Sports.
Yes.
We always talk about how these teams can have a sophomore slump, and people have literally looked at them during the offseason. They've studied them. This is an age of technology. It's not hard to find what somebody's doing. And in the case of Amon-Ra St. Brown, just plugging him in real quick, this guy was so oblivious that he took an Instagram picture in front of their whiteboard, had all the plays behind it, and took a picture. And the coach, literally at Dan Campbell's at their last press conference, they were like, "Hey, did you know that Amon-Ra St. Brown just posted right before the game, you guys' plays?" And he was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "Oh, he took a selfie in front of your whiteboard." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." So it could be as simple as that, but CJ Stroud, he'll bounce back. They're only claiming that division. They got Nico Collins down there, though. Of course, this Dameon Pierce cat. He's, 92 yards. That's a huge. That dude ran like the whole field. And then they missed the extra point. Fairbairn missed the extra point. But at that point, 92 yards, nobody's thinking about the extra point, I don't guess. They've already clinched. They were playing, just trying to stay where they are. But they're in a division that's a mirror of the NFC South. It's like, who could climb to the top of the dumpster first?
I agree. Right now, the Chargers are up 34-13 with 1:35 to play. They're probably going to win that. Cardinals are up 33-24, but they still got almost 7 minutes left. And I'll tell you who's quarterbacking them in a minute. The Seahawks are ahead of the Rams right now with 1:10 left. Stafford is not playing. And the Broncos did end up beating the Chiefs 38-0.
That was horrible.
Bo Nix with 4 touchdowns for Bo Nix. He also ran. Carson Wentz only threw for 98 yards. The defense just shut down Kansas City's second stringers. I mean, it's kind of, you beat the second stringers. They had to win, though. They did win. They won going away. So Denver is definitely in the playoffs now. And that means, Miami and Cincinnati are not. So the Jets have been showing, the New York Jets have been showing the score to the Miami Dolphins every chance they got during the game to make them say, hey, you're playing for nothing. So anyway, that's the update on that. The Broncos beat the Chiefs 38-0. So we look at New England and Buffalo. Now, Sonia, in the beginning of the year in preseason, I saw their third string quarterback. I saw Joe Milton. And I saw him throw the ball, run with the ball, threw the ball better than Drake May. Threw the ball better. He did. And I said to Jack at that time, I would give next year's first round draft pick to get Joe Milton. He goes, no, you wouldn't. I said, I would trade it right now. I would trade my first round draft pick for Milton. And then I watched him again today. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. This guy's got to be starting somewhere. Accurate, can move, 6'5", 230, with a great arm, accurate, can run with the ball. Somebody's going to pick him up. There is no better quarterback to me in the draft this year than he is right now. I would be surprised if he's with the Patriots next year.
Yeah, I saw him in the preseason also, and in my mind, I was like, why is he not starting? Like, I don't know what it is that these teams go in and get these draft picks and they feel like they have to start them or else because they've invested so much, but they really haven't invested so much. You're just going to the draft. It's not like you're how Carolina was moving and shaking all over the place to get Bryce Young.
Right.
But it's just like that dude is awesome. And he would have been better for them, in my opinion. They would be well down the road. I mean, New England is 4-13 for the season. They would have probably at least won a couple of more games, maybe 3, and made it a more of a competitive squad. But more shocking, Mac, is that they beat the Bills again. Like, they came close to beating them a couple of weeks ago, and this time they did. And did Josh Allen actually take the field? I know they said he was.
He did for one play.
Okay.
One play.
Okay, MVP. I feel a little better. Their records are reversed. 13-4, 4-13. That's crazy. What's up, David?
Yes. I mean, Listen, Buffalo Bills didn't play their starters. True. But this guy, I would have sat May all year, and I would have put Milton in. Now, if Milton plays better than May, maybe you got a problem. Maybe you do. Maybe you trade May. I don't know. But I know that in certain circumstances, there have been quarterbacks that have been drafted high and quarterbacks that have been drafted lower that have beaten out the ones that have been drafted high. And, the quarterback of Pittsburgh did that. So, I mean, there is precedence for this. I think you play the best players, right? That's what you do in football. Oh man, me and Linda were watching, and even Linda's like, man, this dude is good. This dude is good. And hopefully the Giants are calling the Patriots right now, since their seasons are both over, and saying, hey, what can we do here? What kind of deal can we make? Because I think this kid's going to be really good. Really,
they need to, because the Titans just took the number 1 spot now, so they can cancel that. So they do need to make some outside calls on their own. They're not going to be able to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders if that's who they're banking on.
I agree. 22 of 29, Sonia. So he missed on 7 throws.
Wow.
141 yards, 1 TD and 1 rushing TD. Booty is the first New England wide receiver to have over 100 yards receiving this year because Milton threw to him. Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
They have to be absolutely insane not to have thought about that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I like David's comment. I'm sorry, Mac. I like David's comment because you think about the picks now. You don't want them to sit and then start to age, and then their pick status goes down. I can't remember who it was the Panthers had. Oh, Brian Burns to you guys. A couple of years ago, the Rams were going to give up a number 1 pick for him and some other stuff for Brian Burns. Okay, well, we didn't give it to him. We didn't get the first pick. Now we're waiting. We gave them to you guys, but for cookie crumbs.
Yeah. I know. And Brian Burns sure could help you guys out this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, like today would have been every close game. we had like at least 4 games that we lost by 1 score or the last minute. And the last time that we, I'm into stats and stuff. The last time we were like that, the very next season was when we went undefeated, except for the one game we went to the Super Bowl. So I'm hoping for that, honestly.
Yeah. So on the New England even with their win, beating Buffalo, Gerard Mayo has been fired.
That's crazy.
Now we talked a little bit before the show. I can understand if this guy was the one that drafted all these players that, it's been there for a couple years. I get it. I get the team has been playing worse than in the beginning. Get that too. How can you blame a guy first year with a terrible, terrible team roster? They may have a worse roster than the Giants. They have a terrible roster. And you're going to fire him after 1 year.
This is so cutthroat. This is what I don't like about the league. I mean, I've seen teams, and mine included, never give the acclimation process a chance because they're rebuild, like press the button. Every time something doesn't go their way, it's get rid of a quarterback or get rid of a coach. You're never going to rebuild if every other season you're removing the main characters. At some point, it's like a movie. When the main character dies off, the entire script changes. The story is wrapping up. It's over because you've killed off your main character. And when you've killed off your quarterback or your coach every other year, no one's following the movie anymore. It's over because you're never sticking to the script.
Listen, I agree. And I guess Dave might be a Patriots fan. That's what it looks like. Dave Padilla.
Yeah, maybe so. Mike Vrabel.
Even if you get Mike Vrabel, what's Mike Vrabel going to do with that roster?
I'm not sold on him. He was formidable like one season in Tennessee, and then that's it. I don't think he's head coach material, honestly.
I think he's a good coach. I don't think you can coach a team where you have no talent at all. I mean, you have to build that team. You have to give the coach a chance and the GM to work together to build a team. To draft, to sign free agents, to do things, and to change the culture. You can't just plug in coaches. Now, Vrabel, maybe after a couple, are they going to give Vrabel 2 years, 3 years? Or are they going to give him 1 year too?
I just think he should stick with coordinating. That's just me. I don't know of any team in the league right now that has enough talent for him to go in, any of the teams, for him to go in as a head coach and actually come out with a winning season.
And Mayo, they wanted Mayo. They were grooming Mayo for 2-3 years. That's who their guy was. It was crazy. So
I wonder if this does cut ties with Belichick because that was Belichick's pick.
Yes, it was. He did have that in his contract. But Vrabel played for Belichick too as a linebacker.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Could be. You could be right, Slim. The Jags get the first round pick. So they lost to the Colts 26-23. They fell to 4-13. Flacco plays for the Colts. He throws for 264 yards and a touchdown. Taylor's a monster, 177 yards. Mac Jones had a touchdown and interception. But they still didn't kill him. I mean, it's not like the Colts went out there and destroyed the Jacksonville Jags. Both of those teams are – I can't explain either one of those teams, Sonia, because they're always missing something, right? The Colts have not been back to the Super Bowl since Peyton Manning.
Oh, my God.
The Jackson Jaguars, have they made it to the Super Bowl?
Was that when Adam Vinatieri was still there as the kicker?
With the Colts, but not the Jags.
With the Colts, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So the Jags,
I don't know.
I think the Jaguars went to the championship in their first year, and that's been it. I don't remember the Jags going to the Super Bowl.
I don't think they've been to the Super Bowl. I think they're one of these teams that's never gone to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's like a handful of them, and I think I remember seeing it. Matter of fact, I'm checking. Here it is right here. There are 4 NFL teams that have never been into the Super Bowl, and these are one of them.
Yes.
Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, and the Jaguars. The team has played in the AFC Championship On 3 occasions, though, Mac, 96, like you said, when they were incepted into the league, 99, and even in 2017. So 7 years ago, but they lost every time, almost 8 years.
Yes.
Thanks, David.
Yes. In fact, Tampa Bay and them came in the same year. Those were the two the new franchises that came in that year. Tampa Bay, of course, has won a couple Super Bowls, where the Jags have not yet.
I didn't know Tampa came in that same, because the Panthers came in that same year too. I didn't know Tampa Bay did.
I'm saying the Jags, AFC,
Panthers,
NFC. I'm thinking the Jags and Tampa Bay came at the same time. Tampa Bay went like 0-13 or 0-16 or something crazy, but they made a Super Bowl. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm right, Sonia. I think they both came in the same year, Tampa Bay.
So Tampa Bay's been out longer than me, 74.
Okay, 74.
You're thinking about the Panthers. The Panthers came in the same year as the Jaguars, and we're in the same division as Tampa Bay is.
True. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
that's
and we have similar colors.
Anyway, Washington beats Dallas. Jaden Daniels doesn't play that much. Mariota, okay, Jack, I'll give you a due here. Mariota throws for a couple of touchdowns, runs for one. He plays a good game. Washington wins, doesn't cover. The thing I want to talk about here, okay, so they went 23-19. And Trey Lance plays instead of Cooper Rush. Now, Trey Lance starts and plays. Cooper Rush lost out on a bonus because he didn't play. So the Dallas Cowboys, he would have made it. Yes, he would have made it $250,000. Isn't that crazy?
They're dirty, Mac. They knew that.
Yes.
They wanted to keep from paying him. That's a Jerry move because they knew that you have to pay, I think it's 77% of the snaps. It's this new clause the NFL has. And the Cowboys implemented it with him. And it's like you come right to the end of the season. And if you have not completed those, you're out of there. I think Kirk Cousins may be close to that as well. It's crazy.
Right. But Cooper Rush is not making the money Kirk Cousins is. So y'all
robbed him.
52% of the snaps he took. He needed to get to 55. He needed to get to 55. He needed 2.5% more snaps.
That's horrible.
To get that bonus. Now,
I'm going to have to follow him on social media and see if he comes out and talks about that, because that is as low as it gets.
If I'm Cooper Rush, I'm gone. I am never playing for the Dallas Cowboys again.
Right.
Buffalo was put in players to get their bonuses. I mean, the head coach drew in a kickoff cover to get $1 million, and this guy in here to get $100,000. I mean, he was just putting people in to get it. But the Cowboys said, we'll start Trey Lance. And you can.
That is as cheap as it gets. And I'm telling you, they did that because they lost out. So they didn't want to pay any more money. Jerry Jones ought to be ashamed of himself for that. They literally said Lance playing means that Rush won't hit his full play time.
Right.
And that Rush would have earned $500,000 in incentives if he played 55% of the snaps. Entering week 18, he's only paid 52.5, and he's going to be out like $500,000.
Yeah.
That's so horrible.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, they're actually, and Mike McCarthy said, well, look, I forget exactly what he said. I was reading, but Trey Lance has worked really hard. That's not why you did it, dude.
No,
you did it so you didn't have to pay him. And
he said
Jerry
he was all in starting Rush. But somebody on my live earlier that was talking about Dallas, I was like, do you guys think McCarthy stays there? And they were like, oh, Jerry said, he's their guy. And now that you're telling me this about Cooper Rush, it does not matter what Jerry says today. Tomorrow he could be like, well, we thought about it. If they did this to Cooper Rush, imagine what's going to happen. McCarthy is not going to be there.
No, I don't know. I don't know how much McCarthy wants to stay in Dallas or not. It seems to me that place for a billion-dollar business likes to cut corners for $200,000 on players. Now, this is not a guy that they just took off the street and started this year. He's been there, subbing in for Dak, playing good ball to keep him involved in the playoff. I mean, this guy has paid his dues for the Cowboys. He's not a guy that just came in 2 years ago. He's been here for a while. And when Dak got hurt, he came in there and he filled in for Dak Prescott and kept the Dallas Cowboys in the playoff hunt. If I'm Cooper Rush, I don't want nothing to do with the Dallas Cowboys.
Not a whole league's talking about him.
Yeah, he's a free agent next year. I mean,
exactly. And let me ask you, Matt, because I see you. Are you looking at that Jets game still?
Yes.
Did you hear what they said? Aaron Rodgers said. The announcers were talking about it earlier.
What's that?
They said Aaron Rodgers came in there and said this is probably his last game with the Jets.
He says it could be, yes.
Yeah, he actually said that.
Well, he said with the GM, the new GM and new coach.
Yep, coaching changes.
He doesn't know. But he also said he's not sure if he's done playing football. So, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is done. I don't think Aaron Rodgers could play with most teams. He would have to be with a team that's ready to go, as they thought the Jets were, which apparently they weren't. But if he could get with a team, Jack talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers or a team that, maybe is a quarterback away from going back. But even with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I do not think Aaron Rodgers brings them to the Super Bowl. I don't.
I mean, I get the talent part of it, but I just can't help but notice the personality. If he goes to the Steelers, that may be a good fit for him because Tomlin's not going to put up with his bull crap. He's not going to let him come in there and take over the locker room and start firing people. Tomlin is going to man up and keep the control of the team and not let Rodgers take it and run away with it. And that's what's happening. These nice coaches are getting cool with Rodgers, being his BFF, and then next thing you know, he's pulled the rug out from under you. You don't have a job. He's called McCarthy his father figure, but you got him fired. Come on, dude. I don't want no father figure that's stabbing me in the back like that and I'm bleeding out.
Listen, I agree. Right now, the Jets are winning 32-20. I think it's a score of 30-22. But they got their quarterback, Tyron Huntley, is not a quarterback. Tyron Huntley is not really a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a guy. 32-20, they're winning right now. They're winning by 12 points. Miami is what they are. They're not that good a team without Tua. He can't get the ball to the wide receivers. And Aaron, the Jets offense is playing pretty good. So I didn't expect I didn't know what would happen here, but with Tua not playing, I thought the Jets would win this game.
I did too. Even though the Jets ain't got nowhere to be, even if they do win, they have nothing.
They've got a lot of things to think about on the offseason. There's a lot of players that aren't happy that are there right now, that are good young players. This new coach is going to have to really sell the Jets to these kids, to these younger players, and be able to get that locker room and go in the right direction. I mean, that you have to have chemistry in any team, as you know, Sonia, watching football. Talent's part of it. But if you guys if you can't play together, if you have no chemistry, you guys don't work together, you can have all the talent in the world. It doesn't matter. You're not going to win. You need that chemistry.
I mean, he tanked that in the beginning when he was off somewhere sniffing mushrooms while the team was out there practicing. And most of us didn't think nothing about it. We just thought, he's out for personal reasons. We were like, okay, hope he's okay. Some people thought maybe he was getting married or something similar like that. None of that came true. You're over in some mushroom retreat overseas sniffing mushrooms and mixing up teas and stuff. That means you're not a team player. Like, why wouldn't you take some of your teammates? If you're talking about building a team, why are you going to go and leave them here working hard?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers has ever really been a team player, Sonia, even with the Packers. Yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers is Aaron. I don't know if you remember the draft, but when he was drafted and he wasn't drafted near the top, you could see him in the back room. He was in the green room, sitting back there, and he was mad. He was actually mad. And I think Aaron Rodgers has – I'm not saying – I don't think his problem. I think he's just a kind of a loner kind of guy. I think he's he doesn't really – from what I read, he doesn't get along with his family. He's a loner kind of guy, but he's a very good quarterback. I'm one of the best quarterbacks ever. I mean, you got to give the guy his due. He really is. Will he? Is he better? Is he better than the best? Not to me, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be there. He's a great quarterback. Just not to me. Not to me the best of the best. Yeah, not the best of the best. You can't compare him to Brady. You can't compare him to Manning. To the best of the best, he's not in that class to me. But he's a great quarterback. So anyway.
But he wanted to be. He wanted to be. And even when and then I'll just say this, and then we can definitely move on. Sorry, Mac. I don't mean to talk about Aaron Rodgers so much, but he was dating Danica Patrick, the race car driver, beautiful girl. And she talked about, they broke up. Then he wants to try to send all these poems and apology letters. Anybody that's doing that, that's a you problem. Like you said, he's probably so isolated. I don't know what type of family dynamic he has or he was born into, but sometimes kids are born into silver spoon situations. They just never make connections with other people, meaningful connections. This dude is 40 years old. He has no kids and never been married.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot.
Yeah, that's the way he is. He's from California. He seems to like to be alone. He seems to like to go to retreats. He seems to like to meditate. He likes that kind of stuff. I ain't gonna put him down for that. It's hard to be good in a team sport.
Yeah.
And be an individualist, right? It's hard to do. But listen, I'm not going to take nothing away from his quarterbacking ability. He's one of the best of all time. So, good luck to him. See if he comes back next year. We'll see. He has 500 touchdowns. He joined the 500 club behind Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady. So he's one of the five that in the 500 touchdown club. So good for him.
Okay, good for him.
The Giants lose again to a guy named Tanner McKee. I think he's a quarterback. It says he is. He threw for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns against my Big Blue. Used to be the Big Blue Wrecking Crew. Now it's Wrecked Up Crew. I have no idea who Tanner McKee is. I don't know how much experience he has. I don't know. I have never heard of the guy. So, but I know of him now. And right now, the Eagles are sitting. I guess they're in the second spot because whatever happens with tonight with Detroit and Minnesota will be the first slot, and the other person drops to the 5th slot. I'm not sure how that's all working. But the Eagles, from what I understand, will be playing against Green Bay in the first round.
Green Bay.
Interesting, right? Jordan Love got hurt. Chicago did end up beating them on the last play field goal. Chicago beat them 24-22. Caleb Williams had a touchdown. As I said, Jordan Love hurt his elbow. Don't know how bad it is yet. But that's a tough matchup for Philadelphia.
Is this the throwing arm he injured?
Yes, the right elbow.
So let me just tell you, Tanner Jeremy McKee was drafted 188th overall. That's why we don't know who he is. In the 6th round of the 2023 draft. Like, the Eagles were so confident they were going to beat y'all. They just basically went and got some kid out of Publix bagging groceries to come down there and suit up to play just to fill the position.
He was on the practice squad handing out towels. And they said, "Hey, you want to play quarterback?" And they said, "Sure, why not?" They get in there and play.
They're like, "We think we got a uniform that'll fit you. Put those Gatorades away."
You don't have to hold. You don't have to hand out towels before today's game. You can play quarterback.
Yeah, he's probably been passing out drinks to Pags too.
Yes, he has. Oh, Lord. So anyway, Philadelphia against Green Bay should be an interesting game. If Jordan Love is healthy, it's going to be a good game. That could go either way, I think.
This is what we talked about, though. Why would they play him today? We talked about this morning. They were far enough ahead. Well, I don't know. Did this game have seeding implications that they had to win? I guess maybe so, like another Atlanta situation.
Could have been. I'm not 100% sure, but it wasn't like he was in for a long time, Sonia. He was
like Pat says, one play, 20 seconds, and it could be a wrap.
Let me see here.
This is horrible. And
All
they
right,
said
so-
this is their first loss to Chicago in 6 seasons.
Yes, it is. So Jordan Love threw 12 passes. That's it.
Oh wow.
So he didn't even play the first quarter. Malik Willis went in there.
God.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. And you know that Jalen Hurts hasn't played for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, he's gonna be nice and rested. Like he had, I think, a concussion and maybe something else. But that's what I was saying earlier on my live. Like Jalen Hurts is going to be lights out because he's rested and relaxed.
You think so?
And they got the home. They got the first bye too. They out for like 3 weeks.
Who is? No, they're playing
Jalen
next
Hurts.
week. Oh,
No,
yeah.
Jalen
Well,
Hurts.
he's been out for 3 weeks. Yes, he has. Yes.
He's gonna be relaxed. He's gonna be relaxed.
I mean, we'll see. Titans get the first round pick. They're going to get a quarterback. There's no doubt about that. They'll probably get Shador Steven. What's his name? Prime time. Yeah.
I can't see Shador in Tennessee. That's what I was saying. I cannot see that. That just the culture just seems all off for Shador.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how good a professional quarterback is going to be anyway. Him or
what, Matt? You know what might happen? I just got a thought. Let me share this with you. What are your thoughts on? So the Falcons, the word was before this last draft that the Falcons could not take a quarterback. I guess they were going to keep Desmond Ridder for one more season, and then they were going to try to go for this year's draft because they knew Shador was coming into it. And you know, Prime is connected to Atlanta or whatever. He used to play for the Falcons. What are your thoughts on now that they've benched Kirk Cousins and they're using Michael Penix Jr.? Do you think that they could possibly try to trade Kirk Cousins to Tennessee for that first draft pick?
No.
Well, if they get rid of him before March,
I don't know if you can. I don't know what the contract is.
I don't know
if he has a no trade contract. They're still going to order 50 million. Who's going to pick up 50 million?
So there's a thing. I'm going to tell you, if they release him before March, the March deadline, the trade deadline, they save like some money. Let me and that's what Sports Illustrated is saying. The Falcons missed out big after spending big money on Kirk Cousins. What a clown. So his contract says he's signed to 4 years, $180 million ahead of this season. The contract included $100 million in guarantee plus the $50 million signing bonus. However, if they release him, this is what's going to happen. That's the contract part. But if they release him, it's going to be similar to that dead cap situation like Russell Wilson has. I guess the Falcons still be paying him somewhere.
Yeah, I mean Denver got screwed, right? They had to have that rookie. They had to go with the rookie. So the Falcons have Penix Jr. anyway, but somebody's going to pay Kirk Cousins, and it's probably going to be the Falcons, right?
Yeah, so the Falcons would be on the hook for $90 million, but if they go ahead and release him, they're going to save $65 million by not retaining him for the full contract amount.
Well, I mean, I don't know why you would do that. Yeah. I don't know why you would let him go. I mean, and Robert Butler's with us. How you doing today, Robert?
What's up, Robert?
Sports Tennessee. We were talking about Tennessee. He popped in. He said maybe they go after Sanders. Depends on Deion's.
They might take Cam Ward.
Cam Ward, I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't like the quarterbacks in this draft. I don't like them at all. I think Tennessee has to do something though. I don't know what Tennessee does. To me, it's a shame if Tennessee reaches for another quarterback because they've got it wrong last 3 times, right?
Oh my God! What happened is they got rid of Derrick Henry. If they had at least kept him, you need at least one person there that can support your new quarterback. The biggest mistake was sending him to Baltimore, but then bringing Will Levis in, still acclimating, and it's just I don't know what to say about Tennessee. They are horribly.
They're having a problems at quarterback. I interviewed Robert, and he even told me, "Listen, if it doesn't work out, they got to do something. Go get another quarterback." You got to do something. And I agree with that, but this year is tough, man. I mean, I don't know. Me looking at the quarterbacks this year in this kind of and this thing and I watched a lot of college football this year. I really did. There are a couple good quarterbacks that are pretty good, but it's a college quarterback. I don't know if they're a pro, if they can do it in pro or not. I don't know if Cam Ward can do this in pro. I don't know if Sanders can do this in pro.
What about Jalen Milroe? Jalen Milroe might be okay.
Terrible. He looked terrible last game, Sonia.
Yeah, he did look bad. I was hoping it was just that particular time. Maybe,
but I mean, you can't be that bad against a college team and then go against a professional football team that's faster and better and more complex and expect to come. I mean, they can't play right away. Let's put it this way: those 3 quarterbacks would not be able to start this year coming in and be successful.
Oh my God,
they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be able to. They would need some time. So I don't know what Tennessee's going to do. If I'm Tennessee, I go after the best athlete I can. The best athlete available. If it means I go get Travis Hunter, I get Travis Hunter, and I live with what I got at quarterback. Maybe try to sign a veteran. I don't know. But it's going to be tough. So let's get to some of these games. The Chargers did end up beating the Raiders 34-20. Justin Herbert, they're starting to let him throw now, Sonia. Remember, they were just running the ball. All of a sudden, Justin Herbert's throwing for 346 yards and 2 touchdowns. Quentin Johnson, 186 yards in receiving. O'Connell had a decent game. So did Jacoby Myers for the Raiders. The Raiders are one of those teams that they could beat you maybe on a good game, on a good day. I don't know what's going to happen with Antonio Pierce. In fact, I heard rumors that Antonio Pierce to the Patriots. How about that?
Oh my God! Why? It's just going to be a part 2 of the Raiders.
I heard that rumor today. That's a rumor.
He must have the ends with somebody to move around like that. Let's be clear, Mac. The Chargers, I am not sold on them. They're just in a garbage division, and they're getting ready to play the Texans in a wild card match.
I love the Chargers.
If they're going to get eliminated.
I love the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to beat the Texans. How's that?
They might. They struggled against
beat the Texans the way the Texans are playing. Chargers got a good defense, a good running game, and Justin Herbert.
Oh my gosh! Maybe
I don't know. I think the Chargers. Maybe. I listen. I like the way the coaching. I like the way he turned it around. They're a tough team. The Raiders will give you a game. They're not going to win, but they will give you a game. And they really didn't have any problem with them. So the Cardinals destroyed the 49ers. Wait till you hear who started for the 49ers. Joshua Dobbs.
Oh no! Wait a minute. He was on the Cardinals before, and they got rid of him. And
he went to Minnesota.
Are you serious?
Yes, I saw that when we were talking before. That's why I smiled. It's like Joshua Dobbs started for the 49ers. So the 49ers end up at 8-9. 6-11. The Cardinals won. Kyler Murray had a good game.
47-24.
Yes. San Fran. It looks like they probably packed it in early. It was pretty close in the second half, but in the fourth quarter, Arizona put up a 21 spot on them, 21-0 in the fourth quarter. So it looks like the 49ers ran out of steam at the end there. Joshua Dobbs.
I'm just shocked he's back. What in the world?
I know. I saw that. I'm like, what's going on? When did he pop up? The guy shows up, right? Not for nothing. He probably didn't know the playbook. He didn't know the guys' names, but he threw for 326 yards. That dude is amazing.
Now, see, somebody like that's played for so many teams, it's easy for them to throw an interception because they can't remember who they play for.
Yeah, that's right.
He's the first NFL player to throw 3 touchdowns in consecutive games for 2 different teams.
There you go.
That's a stat about him.
And you're right. Both teams are red. So, I mean, he could have got confused and threw it to the
other team. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, incredible.
Oh, he's from Alpharetta, Georgia. So, and happy early birthday to him. He got a birthday in this month. the Alpharetta, Georgia area, which is right outside of Atlanta. So
he's not a young guy either. He's not a young guy, is he? I think
29.
he's gotta be in his 30s.
29. He's gonna be 30 this year.
Oh, he's not that old then. Right.
He's turning 30 on the 26th of January.
Right. Joshua Dobbs. I know. What the hell's going on? All right. We already talked about the Broncos. They beat the Chiefs 38-0. The Chiefs just packed it in for that game. I couldn't do that as a coach. I don't care what anybody says. I know you want to rest your players. I cannot sit there and let my team get beat 38-0. I would have done something. I would have done something. I second half, I bring in the starters. I don't know. I cannot sit back there and let my ass get beat 38-0. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't.
And it's the season finale, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, at least let them do a snap or two and then pull them. Why are they not even dressed out? I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I always call him Gonzo. He's over there on the sideline with a hoodie on. He's not even dressed out. And what happens if the quarterback you have in gets hurt and you don't have a thirst? Like, do you remember that year, Mac? And I think it was 2014 or 2013 when Arizona went through 3 quarterbacks.
I remember the San Francisco 49ers losing. They ended up, what was it? McCarthy, whatever the hell his name was. And the running back ended up playing quarterback. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, during the game. Yeah, you're right.
Championship. Yeah, the championship.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So Carson went.
He didn't have to suit up.
10 for 17. Carson went for 10 for 17. I mean, he passed the ball 17 times. That was it. I don't know what happened there.
Carson has not been working out since he left the league. They just have his number on speed dial for any backup position. He's like Joe Flacco. He goes home, relaxes with his family and friends, and he might get a call. Hey, we need you. Oh, where? Where do I go? We'll send you a ticket. That's it.
They should have called Joshua Dobbs. They would have had a better shot.
Oh, my God. Right.
The Seahawks beat the Rams. Another interesting thing here. Geno Smith throws for 4 touchdowns. Seattle has a good game. Jimmy Garoppolo started for the Rams.
Wait a minute, Mac. I've got to get off of here. No, sir. No, sir.
Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 334 yards, too. 2 touchdowns. So, yes.
No way. I didn't know Jimmy G was coming back.
I didn't know he's playing either. I didn't know either.
Porn star Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a tape out there, they say. Filthy animal.
And the Rams and the Seahawks are both 10-7 now.
Oh,
now, I know the Rams have clinched it, but the Seahawks are 10. Yeah.
So what happens in that situation? They both are still in?
No, the Rams have already won the division. I guess they got the tiebreaker, I guess.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the Seahawks, they still won. I picked Seattle, too. I did pick Seattle. I don't know why I picked
Wait a minute. So Jimmy Garoppolo played for the Rams?
Yes.
That is insane.
Yes.
That is insane.
It is.
I mean, they don't even have enough money to print his name on the back. I guess he was out there with no name on the back of his uniform, because why would you even waste that for one game?
He's got the big letter G on there. That's it.
Yeah, that's just one big G.
That's it. Yeah, and listen, he played pretty well too. I don't think the Rams are going to do anything in the playoffs anyway. Really, I really don't. I don't think the Rams are as good as they were last year. To be honest with you,
they're definitely not. They're definitely not. And that makes me kind of think back to the Detroit switch with them. The fact that they switched out Stafford and Goff. Sometimes when I see the Rams look like this, I'm like, yeah, you were dumb to switch them out. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. I mean, listen, I think Stafford, he did win a Super Bowl. Stafford did win a Super Bowl with the Rams. So they got one. They did get that one Super Bowl. Detroit hasn't got yet. We'll see if they get it or not with their defense all beaten up. But we'll see. Of course, we already said the Jets beat the Dolphins 32-20. So them and the
Oh,
Bengals.
boo.
Tyler Huntley, who played for Baltimore, is the backup for Miami. He's just not a starting quarterback. He's not a second-string quarterback. He threw for 227 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. I mean, he could have threw for 4. I mean, they dropped some of the balls. But Rodgers had 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Devontae Adams had a touchdown. So the Jets.
Lazard did too.
Yeah. And the Jets ended up at 5-12, which is worse than they were last year. When they were with Rodgers not playing, they had a better record last year. They were 7.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they were 7-10 last year. This year they're 5-12. They're interviewing Rodgers right now, so I know they're asking him, are you going to be back next year?
Oh my gosh!
We'll see.
Happens. That's what they were trying to do with Mike Tomlin, and they talking about, so Tomlin, we heard Antonio Brown wants a chance to play with the Steelers, and Tomlin just walked off the press conference.
Yeah, he said that.
I mean, the media doesn't give these guys time to do anything. But I will say, now Jack and our records are the exact same. So Jack, if you're watching, congrats on your 5-12. You're equal with my Panthers.
There you go. And you're both better than my Giants. We got 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What position are you guys drafting, Mac?
Third. I think we're in the 3rd spot.
Okay, I think we're 8 or 9. There was so much company this year. The Panthers
were all down the bottom.
Rangers anymore.
Vikings and Lions. Who you got? Vikings and Lions. Who you got? Vikings.
Oh, the Lions. I got the Lions all day. This is going to be a very important game because the winner of this game is going to play the Vikings, and I think it may have already been picked. I'm sorry, excuse me. This game with the Vikings, I'm mentally thinking here, it's going to be a big game because that's going to basically determine that next spot for behind the Eagles. And so I don't know. I just think Detroit has really worked their way up. They're kind of like Kansas City. They're back again. We're seeing them again. But this time they are making sure they're formidable. And the only thing is the Eagles have poked in the way. Unlike last year, the Eagles were not there. So that's going to be something for them to actually get with. The NFC, it's going to be, in my opinion, the Eagles and then versus the NFC North. No other NFC divisions are going to be competitive on this level.
I like the Vikings because the Lions defense is beat up. And remember, whoever wins this gets the 1st seed, which means they get a bye. They relax. They get to relax. Whoever loses has to play, is it Tampa? I think whoever loses has to play Tampa Bay or the Rams. One of those 2 teams. Oh, God. So, I mean, if the Vikings or Lions lose, I think either one of them could beat Tampa Bay or the Rams. I'm not sure. Tampa Bay is pretty good, but I think either one could. But whoever wins this gets the 1st seed and gets that week or 2 weeks off, which would help the Lions. Unbelievable, right? I mean,
I don't know. For some reason, I thought the Eagles were ahead of them and that they had the bye.
Eagles got the number 2 seed wrapped up. So,
I picked in my picks this morning. I actually picked Detroit too, so it's on paper.
Okay, and I think I picked the Vikings, so we're against each other on this one, folks.
Yeah, what's the point spread?
It's like 3.
It's great.
It's nothing, folks. Thanks for joining us. We're at the top of the hour. It's been fun. Me and Sonia had a great time doing NFL Download. Thanks for all the comments, likes, loves, and hopefully shares after. Have a great night and enjoy the game. Vikings and Lions. It should be a real, real good one, folks.